today's upload. I think what happens when I start soft speaking instead of whispering is I get a little too ahead of myself and I start getting back more into out of the soft speaking realm, and I start talking with a heavier influx, and I get louder and get more excited. And at least if I'm whispering and I get more excited, I'm still whispering, so it's okay. And also, I think this microphone sounds a little bit better with a whispering than it does with the soft speaking. I'm going to turn the gain up just a little bit. Okay. So yeah, I am currently back at the skeletons, trying to get that skeleton champion scroll. But I have not had any luck, obviously. I'm about 5,000 kills in, I think, for these skeletons at this spot. I am in the Lumbridge catacombs, as you can see. And yeah, this is a pretty good spot, and I thought it was weird that the wiki didn't have this spot on the page for the skeletons spawn locations. Very weird, because I think this is like the most optimal spot for doing any type of like AFK, and you actually get like a lot of runes from these guys. It's a pretty, I don't know, it's a great spot to do this for the skeleton champion scroll, or just even if you're a low level, just killing these guys for runes and things like that. Iron Men especially. Just get a couple AoE abilities. Even if you don't have AoE abilities, I mean, Dragon's Breath is an ability, I think it's just like level 5 magic, and that takes out a couple enemies at a time. But anyway, I usually do an aggression potion in a potion reservoir for this area, but it's expired. So yeah, so for today, I think we're just gonna kind of hang out, and maybe we can get involved in some criminal bolts, if that's okay with you guys. I'm not gonna put my my bank pin on screen, but what we'll do is I will do a little quick cut. We will get our bakriminel bolt outfit and inventory set up, and we'll meet back in just a second. Go ahead and imagine me like snapping my fingers like a magician, because I'm gonna cut right now. Alright, did you do it? Did you picture me snapping my fingers and quickly changing my setup? Because I did. Alright, so anyway, let's go ahead and start the run here. I usually go, you'll see like a brief rotation to where I start, but I'm not gonna document the whole run. Maybe I will if I have a crappy run and we can get it done quickly. But so what I do is I overload the Bloodwood incense sticks, which each potency level provides a 2.5% chance to gain an additional log when cutting Bloodwood trees. I will use an additional 4 of those, so it puts it for 50 minutes. I will take a perfect juju woodcutting potion. I will, dang, look at all these fireworks going on. Crazy. I will put on my legendary lumberjack aura. I will summon a beaver familiar, which is my giant mole pet. My prized pet. I love this pet so much. I got 1,100 kills. Do you know anybody else in this godforsaken game that's killed the giant mole 1,100 times? Don't worry, let me show you something. Not only did I kill him 1,100 times, I killed him 1,101 times in hard mode. a sadistic person for that, because that was such a grind. Anyway, getting sidetracked. I put on the aura, I summon the beaver pouch, and then we go ahead, and our first spot is going to be Darkmire. I started this quest. I don't even remember what quest it is, but I started it and then abandoned it because I just had to do a partial one. I think I just did it because I wanted the blisterwood, the blisterwood weaponry or something. I wanted them as overrides, but anyway. So yeah, so I have wear the Darkmire hood, the Darkmire outfit, just so the Vyres don't call a human and then come and put me into jail. So I have to put the woodcutting outfit back on, and then here we go, and that's it. That's my whole process, and that theoretically should yield the most bloodwood logs or bakriminel bolts. I mean, per every tree, because that's like the most boosts I think you can have for doing back bolts. And honestly, like, back bolts, they're pretty cheap. So like, I know a lot of people are like, well, why do you even do a back bolt run? Just buy them. It's like, sometimes you get lucky. Sometimes I leave a back bolt run with literally 10,000 logs. Like, that's why I bring 10,000 bolt tips with me, because I've literally gotten 10,000 bolts before from one run. That's like 20 mil, and it takes me like, I don't know, an hour or so to do that. I don't know, I just think it's so worth it just to do these runs. And by the way, I only really ever make ruby enchanted bolts. I know a lot of people will do onyx or hydrix bakriminel bolt enchanted, but yeah, that's just like too rich for my blood. I'm not a huge PVMer. I don't really do any crazy PVM that I need the hydrix bolts or the onyx bolts. If you just heard a dog bark, I'm so sorry. My neighbor's dog is from hell. It is the worst creature I've ever witnessed. It barks at like the buzzing of a fly in the hallway. If it hears it, it's insane, and it's 2 in the morning right now. Why isn't the dog asleep? Anyway, not my animal, not my problem. I do miss living in an I live in an apartment now. I miss living in a house. I loathe having neighbors. I loathe having to put up with neighbors' sounds. Wow. That was a really good, if you saw me, I just clicked that Saren. That was a 52 4-dose prayer potion one. I love getting that. But yeah, I just miss having the seclusion of living in a house. You know, you sometimes deal with having, wow, 2 are on the ground, what the heck? You sometimes deal with, even in houses, you deal with neighbors who are just like ignorantly loud, but way more so in an apartment. And it drives me nuts because I'm a really quiet person. Ironically enough, I do like these ASMR videos, but genuinely, I'm a quiet person. The loudest thing about me is my cats when they get the zoomies at 3 a.m. And they're not even loud. They just run around and maybe meow at each other. But yeah, they're sweethearts. I love my cats. Anyway, but yeah, so I'm hoping to move back to like a house situation in a couple months, hopefully. I moved here back in June of last year. I can't believe it's already February of 2023. Crazy. I know everyone always says that, but it genuinely feels like time is moving faster. Like, as you get older, I heard this one saying, or I guess not not saying, but this theory that time starts feeling like it is going faster. 1 second, let me mute this while the dog barks. Okay, I think it stopped. But I heard that time starts to feel like it moves faster as you get older because it becomes a smaller percentage of your life. And what it means by that is when you're 10 years old, a year is 10% of your whole life. So that 1 year when you're 10 years old feels like so much longer of a time frame than it does when you're 20 or 30 or 40. Because every 10 years, that 1 year becomes, 20, when you're 20, 1 year, God, my brain becomes 5% of your life, and when you're 30, it becomes 3%, etc. So and I don't even know if that math is right. It's late, but I'm assuming it's right. But you get what I'm saying. And I think that's really interesting because I could see that being, that making a lot of sense. It's kind of like when you go on a road trip and you to a place you've never been, and you go on the road trip, say it takes 6 hours to drive there. The trip there feels so much longer than the trip back. I'm sorry I keep muting it. It's really funny. I was really anticipating doing this video, and I was like, oh man, it's gonna be late. I'm gonna have peace and quiet. Everything's gonna be great. The dog. So irritating. And I love dogs, don't get me wrong. Like, I love dogs, I love cats. Pretty much my whole life, when I was living with roommates. I mean, I live alone now, but prior, when I lived with roommates, every roommate I've had a dog. And I grew very close to all of those old roommates' dogs. So I don't hate my neighbor's dog by any means for being a dog. I hate him because he's loud. No, I don't hate him. He's just being, a dog is doing dog things. He hears a noise and goes, oh man, what's that? Anyway. But I think that theory about the fact that time speeds up as we get older is really interesting. And that's probably not the reason, but it could be a reason as to why, everything just feels like it's going by so much faster. I think COVID really sped things up and made them feel like the world slowed down and forced everyone to kind of slow down and stay in one place, amidst all of the quarantining and the enforcement of staying inside or curfews. I don't know, it depends where you lived during all that, but I remember where I was living, there was like a curfew. You couldn't be out past like, what was it, like 8 o'clock or something. And, excuse me, if you heard me do a little burp right there. But yeah, it was like you couldn't be out past 8 o'clock, and the world slowed down, so I think everyone kind of felt like, I know this sounds like a contradiction, but I think because of how everyone had to slow down, and then how everything got back to normal, I don't know, it just feels like COVID was like the pivotal point into everything feeling different. But anyway, so I didn't mention it when I traveled here in the game, but I used a fairy ring, a portable fairy ring, to take me to the Glacier cave, and then you just go outside and go to this tree, and then after that, I just start doing my normal trees, which the rotation after that is to go to the Ardoon I paused there because I said Ardoon, and I don't think even the developers of this game know how to say that city. When I've been playing RuneScape. I've been playing RuneScape since like 6th grade. And when I was in 6th grade, I used to call this city Ardagoon. Ardagoon. In what world is this city? Ardagoon. It's not even phonetically spelled even close to that. There's not even a G in the middle of the... I can't. I digress. I was in 6th grade. Give me a break. But yeah, I've heard people call it Ardoin. Ardoon. It doesn't matter. Ardy. Let's just call it Ardians and call it quits. But yeah, I go here to the manor farm, and then I go to what does this say? Oh my gosh, what's it called? Prifdnis. What is it? This one, the Melier district has a resource dungeon that has a Bloodwood tree in it. And then after that, I go to Edgeville Lodestone, then run a little bit south to the Soul Wars portal, and Soul Wars has a Bloodwood tree. And then after the Soul Wars Bloodwood tree, I go to the Chaos Altar in the Wilderness, level 15, has a Bloodwood tree. And then I use a Dragonkin Laboratory teleport, which teleports me all the way out to the Elite Dungeon 2 entrance. And I will run out, and then there's a Bloodwood tree right there by the northern wilderness fence. And then I'll run back to the Elite Dungeon 2 entrance so I can teleport over to Mandrith with the Slayer Cape. And that is the last one in level 54 or something like that, 52 wilderness, out by the Mage Arena, and that's it. So the wilderness ones usually give a lot more bolts than the ones outside the wilderness, and I don't know why. I think it's because before all these recent changes with the threat system and the removal of, the introduction of optional PvP versus mandatory PvP whilst in the wilderness, I think that was the incentives, if you're in the wilderness chopping Bloodwood trees, we're gonna give you more bang for your more reward for your risk. I guess I'll word it like that. Because obviously you had the option of being PK'd, and it's so funny. It feels like so long ago, but this was just introduced a couple months ago. But I do Bloodwood tree runs all the time. But yeah, that's so funny. It's crazy because I've never once was PK'd doing Bloodwood trees. Not once. I think I've had an attempt on my head. Someone's tried to kill me, but I think I've logged out, if I remember correctly, but it was only one time. But sure enough, the threat system without fail gets me. Every time the monsters will spawn in their mobs and it'll try to kill me, and I'm I don't understand Jagex's thought process behind the threat system. I know they're removing the threat system now. They just announced that a couple weeks ago, or a week ago. It's very fresh announcement where they're saying that the threat system wasn't what they wanted. It didn't serve the purpose that they initially wanted it to. So they're removing it, and it's just I don't know what the heck is going on with Jagex nowadays, honestly. They're just, it's to the point where I think they lost so many core devs, and not only devs, but department leaders, like the people who really kind of, I think, make more of the decisions. Maybe not decisions, but have more of a say in the movings forwards of different things. I think they've lost so many of those people that the people who are left just aren't capable of really making the choices that need to be made for the game. Like they're so focused on like player retention, which is totally justifiable. Like by all means, like yes, have a good player retention for this game. But not only player retention, but new players, and I think that's such like a weird thing to be focused on, because the way they're going about it. I'm sorry, I'm getting sidetracked. Where's my freaking food? There we go. I need to bring like a couple pieces of food when I go in the wilderness, because even though I have the infernal puzzle box maximized all the tiers, so when I am by a bloodwood tree, like nothing targets me, but the second I walk away from a bloodwood tree, like I get attacked by, or the volcano shard hits me. So anyway, yeah, I just think that they need to focus on not fixing, but just like updating the outdated parts of the game, and that will solve everything. Not everything, but it will solve the things they're focused on right now, like the player retention and the new players. Like imagine you download this game. Not download, obviously you don't download RuneScape, but imagine you download the client and open it up for the first time. And you're making, your player avatar, and you see this like this. But then you go into like the wilderness and you see like all these like newer areas with the trees. Like right now my outfit consists of the older default top. This is like a default clothing option that they've had for God knows how long, 10 years or more. And then the pants are part of the courier outfit, which is like the newer designs of the clothing. So you can see there's like more curvature to it. It's less blocky than like all these jagged edges are on my waist and my shoulders and everything. Even my hair, like you can tell the hair is an old hairstyle, because they have these newer hairstyles where you go in. What's one that was a newer one? Soft Punk was a newer one. That's the other thing, like you use these premium hairstyles and hit accept and it diverts to like, anyway, and just another random bug that I've noticed for like 7 or 8 months now. But look at the hair, how much different it looks compared to this like blocky, like stretched textures. Like I don't know, you can just tell that there's something else going on in terms of the difference between the graphics. So imagine you start playing this game and you see this avatar with this clunky, blocky skin, and then you interact with an NPC for the first time and you look at the chat head, and the chat head has this like refined, updated look to it, and you're like, wait, my character doesn't look like that. It's such a small example, but it's so vital into congruency throughout this game, which is the biggest fault of RuneScape 3. There is just no congruency throughout any of it in terms of like graphics, even storyline. There's NPCs from old quests that they remodeled for newer quests, and they didn't update the model from older quests. So you'll see like Carapac, which is an NPC in the Dragonkin lore in this game. You'll see him not only as a boss with an updated model, but you'll see him in previous Dragonkin quest lines as just like a completely different model, and you're like, what? I don't know. I understand this is 2 decades or more worth of content that they would need to bring up to speed and make consistent across the board. But imagine how polished this game would feel if they just literally took a year, 2 years, had one team dedicated to minor updates, like content that will keep people, will keep people fed in terms of content, but all the while telling the player base, like, this is what we're doing. We are updating all of this, and like kind of holding our hand throughout the whole process so we would be cognizant, like, okay, the team doesn't need to push out these huge updates because they're working on refining this game and pushing the longevity of it. I don't know a single player that would be mad at that. Maybe PVMers would be upset because they don't have, oh, I'm sick of the bosses that I've been killing. I need a new challenge and this and that. You can't please everybody. But I think genuinely at the end of the day, like, even those PVMers that crave new content, after they get sick of a boss, they would even be like, yeah, it's definitely needed. I love RuneScape, as everyone does, and I just think that would be what's good for the game, Anyway, we have come to kind of like a crossroads here. I don't want to ride out the rest of the back bolt run right now. I just think it's gonna make for a way too long of a video. But I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me today. I'm really enjoying making videos, honestly. Like, this is really fun. Even though there's not like a huge viewership right now, obviously I'm just starting out. But yeah, I hope that those who are finding these videos are at least finding them enjoyable and are seeing the merit in what I'm trying to do. I love RuneScape, and I've loved ASMR for 10 years or more. I mean, I remember watching ASMR like when there wasn't ASMR. There was literally like the only thing it was like mukbang videos, but it wasn't mukbang because mukbang didn't exist either. It was, you would look up like me eating something, and that's kind of what everyone titled these videos, like, it's me eating a Whopper, me eating McDonald's, and it was not intentional ASMR. It wasn't even intentional, like, eat with me. It was these people who were so bored and they just wanted to make videos, and they just made these videos of them eating. Like I said, like, I remember there's this video of this kid, and he's just eating a Whopper, and it's like he's sitting in his living room, and his parents are yelling, his sister's yelling at him, like, get this Burger King bag off of my laptop. Like, it's not traditional ASMR. ASMR has evolved to this point where it's like, the ASMR GB, she freaks out over helicopters, about planes flying over her house all the time, and like no one can hear the planes in the videos at all. Obviously she maybe edits them out or something, but then even I remember she was like, well, I'll leave the plane sounds in since you guys, say I complain about them too much. And I remember she left the plane sounds in, and you still can't hear it. So it's like ASMR has evolved to this point where you are, all the ASMR people are like so concerned with all these external sounds. Oh god, I'm searching all the wrong places here. Come on. So yeah, the monsters will like spawn right here sometimes, and I can't get in because you can't re-enter this area if you're in combat. But anyway, we'll just do the last tree because that tree was poopy. It gave me like 16 logs, so we'll ride this one out, and then we'll call it a day. But yeah, I've been watching ASMR for so long and playing RuneScape for so long. There's a couple creators that do RuneScape content There's this one girl, I don't remember her name. I'm gonna definitely shout her out, or at least mention her name in the next video if I remember. But she makes old school RuneScape content, and she like doesn't even really play the game. She like plays she plays the game, of course, but she's like not super knowledgeable about it, and so that's kind of her thing, is she goes around like exploring RuneScape, and I think that's super wholesome and awesome, and I love watching her videos. But she plays a lot of like WoW content, like World of Warcraft. She's definitely, you can tell she's into World of Warcraft way more than RuneScape. But RuneScape obviously is such like a culturally iconic video game compared to, well, not compared to World of Warcraft is as well, but just like RuneScape, there's not too many people who have never heard of RuneScape. Who have at least grown up during the era of video games. Wow, that tree was pretty bad too, guys. But that's okay. We got, 22 minutes left on the buff bar for the Bloodwood incense sticks. I love these new Hellhound avatars, are so cool. But even that, like, back to the congruency thing, like, they just updated this area with, all the snow and everything to kind of make the upper part of the wilderness look like it's just a snowy covered area. But my cat has joined me on my desk now, so you might hear a meow or two. He's a needy boy. Anyway, I really appreciate you guys joining me today. I definitely had a good time talking with you. Let me know if you prefer the whispers over the soft speaking. I kind of enjoyed this better than yesterday's video. I enjoyed making this more than yesterday's video, but you could tell there was a couple points in this video where like my voice started to give out because it's not used to whispering. And yeah, that's okay. I enjoyed it nonetheless. What I don't enjoy is this hairstyle. I need my wild spikes. Anyway, so that's gonna be it for today. Oh, here's this guy from the other video I think it was yesterday's video. But yeah, so as always, I will see you guys